Good evening, traders. Almost said good morning. I'm not that drunk yet. Traders, welcome to another AA meeting on Friday night here, May 30th. We got some things to discuss. I'm going to be changing some things big time. I'm very excited about it. I think it's been a major flaw with a small account approach. And I want to dive into it here shortly. We'll wait for some people to trickle in. But for now, I want to hear your thoughts on your day and your week. I did get word from one of our fellow comrades that he blew up today. And he had mentioned, if you're in here, by the way, I won't point you out. But guys, it's not uncommon for me to hear about blow-ups. I experience them, you experience them, and I hear probably one a day or every other day somebody blowing up and telling me about it. I mean, it happens so frequent. I'm trying to be here to help jumpstart you from at least avoiding doing that. And see, the issue is, Mr. King in here. What's going on, King? How was your trading week? Yeah, thanks for joining in on this Friday night. You guys could be doing anything else other than hanging out with me, but here we are. The thing is that, so this trader today specifically was referencing a high win rate, 80% win rate is what he alluded to. But what does that win rate matter if you're going to marry the losers, tunnel in on them, and allow them to blow you up and cripple you, ultimately defining the trading career. So we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into a lot of stuff tonight. But before we dive too deep on that, how are you guys doing? What are you drinking tonight? Tonight is the Smoke Wagon. This is not a paid product placement at all. But what I will say is there's no water added ever. That is the bourbon I like to drink. No water added. Ever. Well, I just messed that up right there, didn't I? Yeah. Barrel strength, cask strength is the way I like it. Non-dilution. All right, so do we want to get into it already? I want to dive into the computer as well and go over kind of exactly what I'm thinking, but we can head over to the whiteboard. I don't want to blow my load too early here because there's going to be lots of traders stepping in once they get done with their dinner with their families and whatnot. But essentially, what we're doing here. So I can pretty much go over my entire trading journey very, very quickly on this whiteboard. So, when I first started trading many years ago, here's what I would do. If a ticker went pretty much like this, what would I do? What do most people do when they first start trading? They, let me see if I get this triangle correct. Is that a short? I think that's a short. Yeah. See, I got it wrong. I would buy. Here's a triangle. So you buy into the euphoria, right? When you first start trading, most traders, this is how I started. I would buy into this. Now what do? And hey, Baron, if you're in here, I want to hear from you because you traded really, really well this morning. Eventually, I went over to something different. So when a ticker was going straight up, here's what I would do. Ticker goes straight up. I would begin to short it. God dang it, Kevin. I keep getting these triangles mixed up. Yeah, there we go. I would short it along the way. All right? Just like that. Short. Oh, King, we got some stuff to go over. You're going to be trading with CMAG Monday? All right. Been a rough month on your Lenovo. Blew up. Been sitting on the sidelines for 3 weeks. So why is Lenovo refunding your money? Turn around and bought the 5K custom desktop. You're returning a computer, okay, and getting a different one. Congratulations on being live on Monday. So please learn from my mistakes. That's the whole point of this channel. I want to jumpstart your careers because I have like nearly 10 years of mistakes and always making them too. All right, so this is what I eventually went to, which is we're going to get into some tickers. I would, hit short into the Euphoria. So that's where I gravitated to a little bit later on. I would end up shorting into the Euphoria. Now, when this worked out, and it did for some traders here today on some euphoric plays, it would be massive. The implications would be amazing. The problem is the outlier trades. And again, you can have an 80% win rate doing this. And that's what's so, I guess, aggravating with it, is because I know the win rate can be very good. I mean, I used to have 80% plus win rate, but there's too much focus, I think, from the gurus on win rate. When win rate ultimately doesn't matter if you can allow a few trades to be outliers and define your trading career and blow you up. What does a win rate matter? Ultimately, you can have a 34% win rate if your risk reward is properly set to 3-1 on the reward to risk. So this is what I've kind of been doing. I've been stuck doing this because I tried to do it for so long that when I see something go up, when I would see something go up, so that's going to be pretty much you guys' look. We all have different trading philosophies, and we learn differently from watching the market over time. But everyone starts off pretty much the same way. They see the tickers buying up, and they buy into the FOMO as tickers go up. But then eventually you say, hey, that's what the 90%ers are doing, and I don't want to be on the 90% side, right? Sometimes they work, but when the elevator down happens on those tickers, dude, it's awful, the elevator down. And that's why I'm trying to catch these. And I have to admit, it's a FOMO thing to do, to be shorting into front side like this, trying to predict, oh man, I'm onto something. I'm telling you guys, this is changing my trading because I can't do this. I know $1 million account traders that do this, and they do it so well because they never take a loss. But the problem is, once you get an SBET that goes straight up, or you get a RGC, let me show you guys real quick. So you get an SBET that goes from $2 and pretty much up to 50. I mean, granted, sometimes they give you opportunities to get out, but look at this move right here on SBET, 47 up to 91, and not really a pullback. I mean, not really much of a pullback anywhere to get out of. So you can get absolutely wrecked. And then RGC, look at this ticker. I've seen a lot of blow-ups on this play right here lately. RGC blow-ups because this ticker went from like $3 in March. It's up. It hit $950 the other day. $950 RGC hit. So lots of blow-ups. That's why I'm saying there's an approach, and for those tuning in later to the stream, we can go back over all this, but that's what I'm saying. Okay, so there's a profitable approach. And Bob, yo, what is up, Bob? I got your message and been going over that a little bit. We got a lot to discuss in regards to your messages as well. Bob's got the skill set and the strat. He's got the strat to do this. And he has an 80% win rate as well. But it's those trades that we allow our ego to take precedence over risk management that gets all of us. It's so aggravating. And that's why I just messaged you, Bob, and said, look, because I know I'm in the way of my own trading, and it sucks to say that. I know I get in the way of my own trading as well. So that's why early on with the account, I had to create a rule that said, apply the stop immediately upon entry. Don't allow yourself to get your ego too involved in the ticker or Marriott because they're not loyal. As soon as you get in, you should know exactly where the stop is. So that's where I'm going with this, and I have a lot of tickers that we can reference. Essentially, narrowing this whole video down into a title is going to be, I'm avoiding front side entirely. Those are the trades that I have. Those are the trades that have messed up my small account. Early on with this account, I was break even for 4 months, but it was like 3 or 4 trades that would have separated me from being green because of me getting in front side and taking larger amounts of risk than what's necessary rather than waiting for defined risk. So when the tickers do this, when they go straight up on the euphoria rather than doing what the amateurs do, that is FOMOing into them without a predefined risk on it. See, amateurs focus on profits. They don't focus risk. That's what separates us, the professionals, from those that are not. We focus risk. They focus profit. So when something's going up like this, what we're going to do, even despite the fact that they may elevator down, here's what I'm doing. Even if it elevators down like this, I'm not trying to predict that anymore. I'm reacting to that move. I'm waiting for the backside. I'm waiting for the elevator down to happen, for the sellers to start taking over and the buyers to begin getting capitulated, and understanding that there's still meat on the bone to make money here. So rather than shorting up into this move, what I'm going to be doing is waiting to see this. Waiting to have a defined top that's set that we can risk off of. And that way, when we pop up again, I can take the short right here, risking high a day, and it's going to be minimal risk based on the reward, oftentimes that we have, because this usually ends up being like a bouncy ball like this, where the dribbles just get less and less and less until it just, profit takes and sells as the long buy traders profit take on it. So we wait for the elevator down to happen, get involved after that. There's still meat on the bone there. There are easier trades, honestly. And that way, the risk is so clearly defined. I'm not really risking. Like this morning, I got involved with a ticker that I was in early, and it just kept squeezing and squeezing and squeezing. Granted, I had a 20% short interest on it. Wasn't expecting the morning, that morning volatility on it, because I hadn't had it any at all. In fact, all the momentum was on other tickers. But I'm going to try to avoid that morning volatility and wait for clear, defined setups. Now, a couple things to note. Give me a second. Got a couple things for you guys to note here. So, patience is what separates the best traders from the rest. Now, patience on what end, you're asking? Well, patience to wait for the setup, and patience to allow the trade room to work is what I wrote down. Patience on both ends of it. You gotta, I spell patience with a P-A-Y because it does pay. Now, patience, I ultimately used to think it's just, when I'm in a green trade, because that had traditionally been my problem. Now, not so much. My issue is evolving. My issues are evolving. So now, here, we're in an AA meeting, so that's what we're going over right now. Bob, how are you doing tonight? You making some deliveries? And King, 10 years of learning. I like that. 10 years of market tuition. I have so much experience watching tickers. It really can get in the way of my trading at certain points. Like, you would think it's only a good thing to have tons of trading experience. And it one side of it is. But on another side of it, it creates an over conviction. It creates a lot of, maybe too much conviction sometimes, when really there's no guarantees out there. You've seen a setup work so often that maybe you oversize, over leverage, and have increased and over bias in it. So experience is your best teacher overall, but I'm just saying inherently there is that aspect to it where you've seen something so often that you have to understand that you do not know what's going to happen on each individual trade, regardless of your experience. Regardless of the experience, you don't know what's going to happen per trade. So patience is what separates us. Patience spelled with a P-A-Y. What you drinking tonight, Baron? I just referenced you too, by the way. I was going over you and your trade this morning on RRGB. That freaking Red Robin. Who goes to Red Robin? I don't even believe the earnings that they came out with this morning. Don't even believe it. How are they profitable? Or at least their losses were better than expected. I don't know. I'm not buying it. But good trade on RRGB. I just went over via the whiteboard. Pretty much, Baron, how I've traded. When I first started, it would be how most traders are, buying high and hoping higher. And then eventually I would start taking the opposite side of the move, shorting the euphoria. But because a small account, you can't really afford to scale into some of these plays. What I'm doing now, Baron, I'll show you the whiteboard real quick. This is it. This is what we're doing. So I'm waiting for, and these are the easiest trades for me, Baron. They're so clearly defined that even if they don't work, the risk is so minimal. Because you have a high set, you wait for the elevator down, and then the pop up. You take the short there, and then usually they just dribble out. It's like the basketball dribble out effect where they just get slower and slower, weaker. So before I would buy up into this, I would buy high, hope higher, and then I get, there's no, it's so dumb. Did you do this too, Baron, or am I the only idiot in here? When we first started out trading, we buy high, we hope higher, and there's no risk predefined at all. So amateurs, all they focus on is profit. All amateurs, guys, I'm telling you, everybody start small because there is so much to learn. There's so much to learn. You have to unlearn things. You have to, okay, look, we can get into so much tonight if you want to. How much time you guys got? Baron, you're the therapist. This is really interesting concept. There's things that you have to unlearn. That's what kind of triggered this thought when I said that. A lot of us grow up, especially in the Western world, where we're taught certain things. Maybe there are certain ethics that may not deliver in trading. Let's just put it that way. Such as, don't be a greedy person. Well, in trading, there are times when you need to be greedy. You need to be overly greedy. So there's certain things, there's a lot we have to work on within ourselves. So where I was going with that buying high and hoping higher, though, is Baron, essentially, like when we first start out, the trade amateurs, they just don't predefine risk at all. You have to do that. First and foremost, you have to have predefined risk. Otherwise, you're never going to make it. You're never going to make it if you're only focused profit. It will bite you. You may have very large home run trades. You may have a lot of good winners, but if you never focus risk, there's going to be a time that comes when you're going to hold and hope, marry tickers, and blow up massive accounts. Actually, we have so many examples of those traders. There's one in here that's told the story like a few weekends ago when we had a Friday night live stream in an AA meeting. He said he grew his account from like a couple thousand to 20,000 and lost the 20,000 in one trade. Now I feel like I can share that because he shared it in here. And he said the thing you have to focus the most on is risk management. So that's where I'm at. I know that sizing into some of these plays where I'm overly convicted on, especially with the years of experience watching these tickers, I know that 95% of the time, maybe I'm successful in green on the trades. I don't care anymore. I just don't care. I'm okay with a 40% win rate. The win rate just does not matter to me anymore because I want to be able to trust myself enough to know that I'm never letting one trade ever define my entire trading journey. That's kind of the message. I just do not want to allow one trade to define the trading journey over bias, oversizing into it because it's going to happen. There's traders that hit huge home run trades. We went over the RGC. That thing's up to like $900 right now from $3 a few months ago. There are traders that hit home runs on some of these trades. I'm not interested in home runs. I'm interested in consistent growth, an equity curve that's going in the right direction. So that's why I know I have to make a major change. Obviously, the account has been showing that. I went sideways for 4 months on fees, and now I've taken a look at the last few months, and I've taken a couple, like, two large loss of trades on this account, like a 15% loss. And that is because, sizing front side, it works until it doesn't. And when it doesn't, you're taking an overly large loss in the account. So with a small account, I'm convinced at this point in time that I'm waiting for clearly defined risk, waiting for backside when it's easy. And like that quote I said, trading really should be easy. What's going to be not easy and what's going to be expensive is trying to prove to the market that you are right, that you're right on a trade. You're allowing your ego. It's not a matter of right or wrong. It's a matter of making money or losing money. It can be very expensive to try and prove the market wrong. So once you become, this is so important, and then I'm going to shut up and give you guys the floor. Once you become comfortable doing absolutely nothing, and that's where I went wrong this morning, and you guys see it live every day, pretty much my trading errors, my successes and failures. Once you become comfortable doing absolutely nothing and just waiting on your own trading setup, Bob, you commented on this. You nailed it. Bob knows what to do. We just get in our own way. We have uphill battles. We need to not create the downhill habits. I'm embarrassed to say that I have to set a stop once I get into a trade because really, I have a hard time trusting myself. If I'm short something like this morning and it just keeps going higher and higher on euphoria, I just want to keep hitting it and smacking it. I mean, that's my natural response because I've done that for so long, smacking them into oblivion until they work out. That's my natural response, and I know what that emotion's telling me and what it's brewing up. So rather than doing that, I know what my emotions are telling me. Rather than listening to them, I put the guardrails up and set the stop. That way I'm not getting overly sized and biased on a ticker. So once you become comfortable doing nothing and just waiting on your own trading setup, you become a much better trader than someone who is always has to be active, always just has to be into something because we're degenerates, We're degenerate traders. So much we've been going over. Lots of traders, guys, in this market that are just, it's difficult. There's a lot of blowups happening, so it's not unusual for anyone in here to experience a blowup. I get emails and people comment all the time about blowing up. Somebody commented on my video like a few days ago, like a 5-year-old video saying, I just blew up a $5,000 account. Can you help fund my next one? Essentially like a GoFundMe. It's happening to everybody all the time, guys. It's start small because you have to learn what not to do to figure out what to do. You gotta learn what not to do, and it's part of the market tuition. That's why I'm okay. I would honestly rather lose the money on a trading error than making money, especially with a smaller account. Because once we have very large accounts in here, guys, we cannot afford to be making those trading errors. Because once we have $100,000 accounts in here, we cannot make those one trading error decisions that are going to define that trading account. That's going to be. It's imperative that we learn exactly what we're doing. Imperative that we have proper risk management with the smaller accounts. So that's why they're good. All right, I need a drink. Baron, what are you drinking tonight? Finishing off the Rebel. King's got plenty of time. Yeah, that Rebel's good stuff. Drinking some Smoke Wagon. No water added, Baron. I don't like the water in my bourbon. Don't put that stuff in my bourbon. I don't like anything in it. Well, think of the capitalistic view of work hard and don't quit. And if you don't quit a trade, you will blow up your account. Yeah, so... Yeah, and traders have got to take it kind of slow. I mean, people want to hit their home run trades to make massive gains on one day, on one trade, versus just trying to look at the bigger picture here. I think that's what forces us into potentially over trading too, is never being content, because the stock market is an ever-flowing opportunity flow. There's money going in and out just non-stop, and we think that we have to constantly be active in it. And that's why I said we need to be comfortable in doing nothing. Comfortable in doing nothing but waiting for our setup. Now, I know all of us have different setups, and I'm very proud of this group because of that. This is not a group of just sheep. Yes, we sharpen each other out in here, but we're not chasing each other's alerts. We have our own individual trading philosophies. Bob delivering some pizzas. Keep pausing, so I'm behind the live. All right, decided to quit weed today to get my mind better for trading. I like that, Bob. So Bob had a rough go of it today, and rather than just being down on himself, he said, you know what, I'm going to create a situation in which my trading can thrive. MG learning loads from different people on YouTube here and tried all the strategies they use. The only one it worked for me is your strategy with shorting. I'm happy with it. Oh, God. I'm going to cry on stream, MG. Now, if only I could make it work for me. Oh, man. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Yeah, that means a lot. They say those that can't do teach. I don't want to be in that boat. I do think I'm a really good teacher at this. I think I get in the way of myself a lot of times, though. Pretty much I've seen it all, so I know exactly how to help traders out, but sometimes I don't even listen to myself. So that can be my problem. I think we're on to something, though, with what we're going to be adjusting. MG, tell me what you think about this, because since the early stages of this, the small accounts, I've been jumping too much into the front side. I really think with a small account, if you want to see growth, you have got to wait for confirmation over anticipation. I've been talking about that a lot here lately, too. If I'm anticipating and predicting like where the top's going to be, for instance, and jumping into the euphoria, unless I don't know. I feel like I need a large account to really size into those plays to make them work, because the one that doesn't is just going to be too difficult for me. I respect that approach a lot, and I know traders that are very successful with it. But additionally, I know traders that they'll be very successful with it for an entire month, where they'll make many thousands of dollars, but I've seen also these traders, they lose on one trade way more than that. Because again, it works until it doesn't. We were just going over this morning, Baron, how everything's hard. It does, it just is. It just is. A lot of these things are hard. It's hard. A small account creates even additional challenges, but I think these challenges will sustain us. These challenges that we're going through, they will sustain us. I really believe it. So, for example, let's just dive into some charts so you guys can stop. You want to look at some charts, and not my head the entire night. I'm such a chart addict. Looking at CLF spike into the after hours. That's a steal play. Yeah, guys, today BMGL I went to this one. I actually hit this short. For those that were in here, I hit this short, and that was on paper though. I went on paper after live. I hit that short at like, I don't know, 210 or so, and rode it down into the 160s. I cannot believe I revisited this later. It held VWAP. It curled all the way around, went up to 718. Yeah, so this was an example of one that worked, and it did make money. But here's what I was looking at at that point in time. Okay, hear me out. So the top had been set. It broke over the whole dollar. We had 214. It looked heavy. We saw the upper shadows there. And I took the short after the fact, after it went through the whole dollar, after it pulled back, after it was looking heavy, not shorting into the euphoria. So again, that's what I'm going to be doing. Another example, I'm going through a few of these. NPWR. This one had a zombie hour move yesterday up into the whole $3 area. And this morning, guys, this is what we're waiting for. This is what we're waiting for. We're waiting for the plays to come to us, being comfortable just sitting, not having to be active at all times. So NPWR, I saw this. The shorts were way too expensive on it. Really, they weren't. It was like $17, $18 per 100, but that still would have made a ton of money. It pops up into resistance. So clearly defined. I love this, guys. Learn from this. This is a beautiful textbook play. I love to trade these. So they come to you, right? They pop up towards where a lot of buyers are at and going to create a natural ceiling of resistance. And we short into that up into the 260s, pretty much risking 275, 280, all the way up to 3. That's beautiful. Let's continue moving on because there's quite a few examples of this. RRGB, which I started early. Here's another example because these give multiple opportunities. I know Baron killed this one this morning. 571, we shot down. I mean, we could have waited, for a couple of these red candlesticks and risked the high. Or an easier, more comfortable play is even after that halt down, she climbs back up and we hit her at like 550 right here, 540s, risking the high day on this bear flag move. And then she pulls back down, back under $5. So just multiple great opportunities to get involved. I can tell I'm too eager to get involved in a lot of these plays. Like, guys, it's hard to really elaborate on this. For those that have traded a while, you'll probably understand. Like the gut just knows what's a good trade and what's not sometimes. Like the gut will tell me, I can hear my gut saying this is a very solid, low risk, high reward trade. Here's a couple other ones, guys, that I love this morning, and both of them worked out. HBIO, I love Fades focused on these a lot too. Guys, learn from these strategies right here. Look at this. HBIO descending triangle on Thursday. Absolutely gorgeous. It worked out great, but now when we crack that bottom trend at 60 cents, it becomes a level of resistance, and we opened up at 60. We sold all the way off into the low 45s. It's just a fade. It's the next day, so you don't always have to be focused on the leading gappers of the day to make a ton of money. In fact, I love focusing these plays because they have clear defined risk. This is what I'm looking for. Had I focused this instead of shorting front side, would have been a nice green day. These are clearly defined risk. It's the leading gap of the prior day. Oftentimes, momentum has shifted elsewhere, and they just fade. Same story. Very similar story. MODV. Little cheap play that made an after-hours move Thursday, and it just had a level of resistance now. 150, shorted it, or just wrote it. It's a quiet play, but it's longs profit taken on these names. Longs are profit taken on these names. All right, so, yeah, guys, motivated. This is good stuff. We're going to wait. We're going to wait until things just settle down, letting the trades come to us versus us finding the trades. Now, again, I tell you guys that. I wish I could do it myself because I don't listen to myself enough. I just jump into plays. Kayvon makes fun of me often when the market opens up. He's like, it's 1 minute in, you're already into something. I can't help it. I can't help it. I'm just saying. I'm a degenerate. I got to realize that. I love to trade. And so you got to suppress that emotion. Because I love to trade. I know that's a weakness of mine to listen to that and jump into pretty much anything and everything. Especially after you've been doing market analysis all morning and you're just eager to jump into something. All right, I'm going to catch up. You got it BMGL from 7 to 4. I don't see that I went to 4, maybe 5 you got to. What a play right there. And look how patient you had to have been waiting for that 7. What a play. Good job, Baron. Dude, when you're trading well on a day, it just, dude, I've had some of those days, I'm sure you guys have too, where everything is working. Everything is working that you're trading on a day, and you just feel, I mean, you're in the flow. I believe Mark Douglas called it the flow. It's just you're in sync with the market that day, and everything's working. MG, I keep my account limit with 500. I short once any stocks coming close to daily resistance. I wire out any profits over my $500 account, so blowing the account doesn't scare me anymore because you've pretty much... Where are you trading at again, MG? You made 180 just on that ticker alone. Good job, Baron. Excellent work. Baron killing it over here. Yeah, MG, that's not a bad idea to be, taking profits along the way with your account. You just keep it bare minimum. Not a ton of wiggle room on it. 344 green on the day with a $50 daily goal. Dude, that's where it's at. That's what we go over that often. It's like, have your goal, but you be flexible on the profit side. So be rigid with the rules as far as, I believe you said this morning, like you had 175 max loss on the day. I think you said, yeah, be very rigid with that. And on the profit side, just keep trading until it's not working anymore, right? Yesterday I tried to do that too. I was gearing close to 100 on the day yesterday with when I was up just 30 or 40 on the small account, and just kept trading until I just kept taking trades until it didn't work anymore with the small account. And then called it a day at that point. So just why would you limit your profit side? And I did that a lot early on. I would pretty much hit the daily quota and just be done for the day. That messed me up a lot too. I've learned so much. With these small accounts. So I'm very happy about that. A lot of good market tuition going out. I'm using Trade Zero and CMEG. Yeah, with CMEG though, it's isn't it like a decent, I don't know what their wire out fee is. But what do you try to do? Grow up from 500 to 1,000 and then you wire out 500? Max ticker loss is interesting. 175. Okay, cool. And account limit loss on the day is 250. Yeah. Yeah, and then when you have green days of 344, that's pretty good. That is not bad at all. Great work today. So, what other tickers did you trade, Baron? You got BMGL. Did you size into this one too? What's been working for you with your account? So you've pretty much heard me. You guys have heard me in here. I'm waiting for clear defined risk. So like BMGL, for instance, Baron. What would your risk have been here? Because that's what I focus on before ever taking an entry. It's like, what's the risk going to be? So did you wait for the 7 pop and you see these upper shadows? I'm looking at it right now. And you see these upper shadows and you're kind of just risking high a day there. What's the idea? Or are you more so risking like a dollar amount and sizing in until maybe, you're down a certain amount and then you get out? MG growing from 500 to 1,500 every week on average. Wow. Every week making about $1,000, MG. And you're mainly shorting pre-market, right? You're doing a lot of shorting in pre-market. Well, that motivates me because after my fees get taken out, I'm about to be pretty much there with you, and I'm focused in hard on allowing the trades to come my way, waiting for the confirmation over the anticipation, not predicting but reacting to the trades that come to me. But yeah, good work today, guys. Lots of man, there's traders in here that are doing so well, and there's a lot of us that are still trying to unlearn and learn things, but we're all in here to help each other out. That's the beauty of it. Lots of blow-ups in here and lots of success. It's great. This is a good team. We are ultimately the green team. And speaking of green team, we got Mr. CoinFox in here who's been trading for about 20 years. CoinFox in the building. What's going on, Coin? Coin's been around for a good while. Coin, exactly, in pre-market since April. Man, pre-market's been amazing for you. So I saw somebody the other day on X. They had blown up trading pre-market. I know you're shorting a lot of these plays, but how are you defining your risk in pre-market on some of these tickers? I'm curious how you define the risk. I know like a lot of them just go straight up and straight back down, so that provides great opportunity. But Coin, you see this RGC? I saw somebody who lost hundreds of thousands of dollars on this thing. This thing's from like $4 or $5 to $950. Not that it is so thinly traded, so thinly traded. Yeah, BMGL, what a ticker. And what is even like the short interest on BMGL to make a move like that? It must have it gathered a lot of shorts intraday for that. Yeah, only 5%. Not a lot at all. Every time I pull up the web, stream gets a little laggy. I'm going to chill off on that. Baron, scalped it a few times before market closed good. I have a few shares short already. Sometimes there's a market pop at the top gainers. Yeah, dude. Like even scalping, once you're green, like you said, your goal's 50 and you're up a few hundred. Like at that point, dude, I'm with you. I feel like once you're in sync with the market, just scalping could be the way to go. Even if you're just playing with house money at that point, so you're not even going full share size. You're just, 100 here, 200 there, and just making an extra 20, 30, 40 bucks. Just boom, 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 patting the wallet, and tight risk on it. Coin, rough week for you. Get chopped up a few. God, dude. That word chop has been like the theme of the last couple of weeks. We have literally used the word chop so many times. Yeah, lots of traders have been getting chopped out in this market. It's been brutal. It's been brutal because you just like the tariffs are all over the place, and you saw the CLF that jumped up on the steel. It's like, we're not going to have steel tariffs. We're going to have steel tariffs. We're doing this with China. We're not doing this, and it's just It's been a tweet market where you used to be able to focus more so just mainly in the Biden market. You could focus mainly technicals because there wasn't a whole lot of tweets, that were making the market do one thing or the other, but it's been kind of the wild, wild west out here lately. I know that's irritating. I mean, we've been here live when our trades are going perfectly fine. They're moving in their direction, and then all of a sudden, Trump tweets something, and then everything shoots up massively when we're all short on something. And that's why at a certain point I'm like, okay, well, we have to pretty much have our stops set because of the chop. Stops have to be hard. Mental stops aren't really going to work unless you're just so tunneled in on the ticker that you're anticipating anything can happen on it. But Coin, you're more focused in on some nice swings. I gotcha. Yep, MG, using your words, looking left to predict right. Yes, sir. Look left to predict right. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, MG, I'm curious, how you're... Throw down, I'm curious if you don't mind, throw down in the comments, so in pre-market, what you're looking for. Are you just... And I know you use the Momo screener, so a ticker pops up, you pull it up, you look left to predict right. Are you pretty much shorting into the resistance? So that's essentially what I do too. If you can narrow down your edge into anything, what would it be? So my edge is, I've always shorted the Euphoria into resistance, but I'm changing that. That is changing because those are my bigger losses I get. And they have been. I need to wait for things to calm down and be so pretty much easy. Easy plays that pop up toward, and it's okay to miss some things. Easy, comfortable trades that... now, I know that's going to get some backlash. Not comfortable in the sense that you're thinking. Once you have to be comfortable in doing nothing. I know taking the opposite side of the trade is generally not comfortable, so I'm not alluding to that. I'm very comfortable being on the opposite side of the trade. I have evolved and adapted to that point, which takes time. But I want to be comfortable in doing nothing. I'm not so much good at that because I'm a trading degenerate that wants to always be in something. So I have to be comfortable in doing nothing. God, I need to write that down too. And being okay with tickers that pass you by. Being okay with the tickers that pass you by. Mr. Barron, I play starters at 10 to 40. Yeah, that's what I was, before I finish what you wrote there. With our RGB, that's, when I go back and forth on, do I really want to just wait for the backside? That is what crosses my mind. Like doing 25, 25, 50, doing pretty much the allotment that you're focused on right there. Man, that was so profitable. I'm still tilted about that. I can see how that's very profitable. And I like that a lot. I don't know. It just hasn't been working for me. So I think what we're doing is we're waiting for a top to be set. That would have been hard to see here. I wanted to use the word predict. I don't like using that word with tickers. It would have been hard to see there. What we could have reacted to, if I'm really being honest, hindsight trading, I know, it's one thing, but I do think the sloppy seconds curl back up here to 550. That is what my gut would have been like. This is a good trade. This is sloppy seconds back up to the high. Take the short. That is a good trade right there. And granted, you're not getting the elevator down, but you're making a lot easier money. 20-cent risk for a 50-cent return back down to under $5 and leaving potentially leftovers to fade further. That is a good trade. That's what I'm focusing more on moving forward rather than trying to catch them, the opposite side of the trade on the way up. Coin, let me finish your message, Baron. I worked my way up to 200 on BMGL, but I was red and had to hope it would turn around. Uh-oh. The word hope is in there. You had a stop in place, though, right? Because, again, like what we're talking about, you have a strategy that's going to have a high win rate, but you got to make sure you See, I don't trust myself very much to press the button when I'm red. That's why I'm just, Kevin, throw the stop down, because you can get in so much trouble. As long as you're managing risk, I think you're going to be pretty good. That is the number one thing. Everybody I've talked to in this group and beyond, really, that blow up, it's all risk management. Always risk management. It's number one key. If you can succeed in managing your risk, pretty much what it is you have to be able to take losers. If everybody's going to have losers, guys, everybody's going to have losers, but not everybody is going to have large losses. You do not have to have large losses. And that's why, MG, I was curious about your pre-market trading, because the pre-market has kind of been a rule of mine not to trade, because it can be a liquid, spready, sometimes just very volatile with the PRs that come out at 8, 8:30, and 9. Coin, I like this market. Just made some dumb mistakes, but the catalyst market is good, especially if you're purely been buying the dip, dude. Yes, it has been a buy the dip market. Over trading. Yeah, see, guys, even a veteran like Coin, 20 years in, we all have our uphill battles. Over trading. That's a curse. That is a curse. Man. Because us degenerates like to be in trades at all times. Oh, man. Some of these things, they don't leave you, but you just know what your emotions are telling you. It's like you know your identity in trading, and I struggle with this or that. I've always been honest about my struggles with, letting winners run. And now I think one of my struggles, and I've been letting the winners run, the leftovers. I did that really well with PMAX. I think that was off stream in the afternoon. But I see some charts from traders. You guys let me know what you think on this. Where they're just like if they're green on a ticker, rather than just taking profits when they have it, what they're doing is on any pop that they get, they just keep adding more. Just keep shorting and shorting, and just short it all the way down. See, that would be a challenge for me. If I see profits, and rather than taking any profits off, I just keep hitting it. But I know that can be majorly profitable, because what we have a tendency to do is on the red trades, we will, like we've been discussing, Baron and I, we will add to those when we're losing. See, why is it so comfortable to size into the losers? And then on the green trades, it is very uncomfortable, at least for me. I'll speak for myself here. It's very uncomfortable for me to size into the trades where I'm green on. I think it's because the red trades, I'm getting a better average, and that's what makes it feel comfortable. And when I'm green on tickers, your average is getting way worse to do that. If you're short something at 10 and then you short it at 950, it really messes up your average, especially if the ticker's not going to work and curl back around. But what I think I'm going to get in the habit of doing is at least taking some off. So if I short at 10, it goes down to 950, probably take half off. If it pops up to 980, hit it again short. If it comes back up to 10, just get out of it and just keep hitting it and keep working it. But realize some of the profits along the way, instead of just being overly convicted and just short, and then, pretty much shorten it to zero. MG, I opened 2 charts, 1 minute and the 1 day. Good. Once you see a stock squeezing up close to the daily resistance in the daily charts, I short it straight away and take the profit quick. Okay. You got a ticker that you traded recently that we could look at? Very cool. Baron, I'm practicing cutting my losers. The largest loser today was BMGL for 15. Dude, that's a good day. Man, that's a good day, Baron. $300 and some, $15 was your biggest loser. Gosh, that is amazing. That is amazing. man, because you're going to be able, if that's like a consistent day-to-day approach, I mean, even if you took, let's say you took 10 losers for $15, I mean, still, you're keeping your losers minimal, and you know your winners, you're letting those run. So that is the idea. Minimizing the losers, maximizing the winners. You lost a decent chuck on S-Bet on Monday. Yeah, S-Bet. S-Bet, honestly, Baron, and you probably have a rule now on it, so that's worth paying for. $100 for that rule. S-Bet is just an avoid. I think you know that now. And how do you know what's an avoid moving forward? Well, let me know what you think. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but that ticker's 630,000 in the float. It's like I've had to create a. I pulled up Google again. It's messing up the stream. So yeah, I mean, I'm fairly disciplined with that. If I see something not even a million in the float, dude, there's no way that thing can squeeze up like we just saw with S-Bet up to $124. There's no way I can be short on that, because you just don't know. I mean, that there's just so little. It's price and demand, right? Supply and demand, rather. Give me 1 second. Mommy's downstairs. Supply and demand, right? So you have like no supply and a lot of demand. It just creates inevitably what we saw here with S-Bet. But if you gotta have the demand for it. Yeah, MG. Just one share. See if it's working for you or not. Yeah. Just getting some skin in the game. Oh my god, and I had a dollar spread. Oh my god. Yeah, those spreads are massive, dude. Did you see that spread before you jumped into it? I would have been like, dude, there ain't any way. A whole dollar spread. I can see, like, looking back here, I'm trying to look from your perspective. Like, I can definitely see what interested you in this. From $10 up to $30. I mean, so much money to be made there. I can see the interest for sure when a ticker's up 300% like that. I don't know. I have those tickers like that where I just have them for entertainment value. I'm like, it's not in my arsenal of trades. Too low of a float, too spready. Pre-market I've been avoiding for so long too. I have not traded pre-market. I don't know if I'm gonna get back into it. I could maybe like what MG's saying with small share size. But my experience with pre-market is it's when all the news comes out. This is MG. This is why I don't like pre-market after hours, because it's more unpredictable. I mean, you have... I don't know. I got to think about it. I've been stuck long in something in after hours that came out with an offering. Let's put it that way. That burned me a lot. And all the news is usually coming out pre-market after hours. So it just increased volatility, increased unpredictability, more liquid, more spready, like S-Bet and pre-market had that big spread. So I don't know. I know there's certainly opportunity. And I'm not dismissing the fact that people can be consistent trading at that time period. It's just been a rule of mine for a while. It was around $9. Well, you glad you didn't hold and hope that one? Only losing 100 on it. That ain't too bad looking back at it, right? Yeah, I was just taking a look. S-Bet. The thing went from like... Here. SBET. Good thing you didn't hold it to 124. Because you know people You know, people like short these into oblivion and then they get stubborn and they liquidate their entire account on these things. Liquidate the entire account. MG, that's good though. You're doing really well. So the ones that don't work, how quick are you to cut your losses, MG? Like, let's say one doesn't work in pre-market. Let's say you're in one that doesn't work. How quick are you to cut your profits? I've heard of generational wealth. I haven't heard of the generational poverty. That's pretty funny. Coin, you never could understand why people trade the low floaters. I tried it for about a year and it was hell. That's just me though. So, yeah, my first year was not too bad with the low floaters, but that's because I was a part of a bunch of chat rooms and I could, and I knew what they were going to pump. So it's like it either is going to get pumped or it's not. That's how I trade it. I would jump into it, and if it got everybody pumping it up, you'd make money. If it didn't, you just get out. But I could not. I was never content with that way of trading. It's not trading. I mean, that's not trading. You're making money, sure. So that's the most important thing, right? But it's like, this is not trading, and I don't even know how this is illegal. How are these people getting away with this? Just pumping all these random tickers up. I don't know. I don't know how some of them, they haven't gone after, but that's a whole different conversation. All right, you guys keep type out some stories or questions. I got a kid that got to put one of my kids down. All right, catching up here. MG, use small size of shares and you cut it if it goes over 1 point. If you lose over 1 point on the ticker. Coin, I like the large caps because cash seeks yield, so there's more opportunities for long swings. Yeah, I definitely see the swing potential there. And Baron trading objectively. Taking the short and long of it. Got to have the hotkeys ready. So Coin's got the 10 tickers. Dude, some people really are like that, and that's where Coin's gravitated to. So there's money to be made in all different facets of the trading world. And some people literally just trade like Tesla. That's all they trade. They just trade the price action of Tesla, memorizing, like he said, the price action of it. And the personality. A lot of these tickers, they have personality, so you can gather from them when you watch them nonstop. You can get an idea of how the ticker likes to move. Does it like to have fake out breakdowns and fake out breakouts and what have you? Lots of different ways to make money in trading. But yeah, I mean the BMGLs. I mean, Baron, you were in there this morning. That up and over $2 quick. Normally, it's just this. You can be in and out quick too. Like a lot of these euphoric moves, they end in some kind of profit taking. So that move up to 214, shorted it, wrote it down to the 160s, and then I like these volume candlesticks. So you see the volume here on the volume chart. So that huge upper wick is just signaling lots of like market orders, liquidity sweeps, that kind of thing. I like to. Those are the times I like to take the opposite side of the move. But on this play in particular today, I'm doing like what I've been going over at the beginning of the stream, waiting for it to set, and then shorting into maybe like these upper shadows. So maybe that those upper shadows have been set. We pull back pretty hard. We start going sideways. We look heavy. We look really heavy now against $2. Now the risk is high day. So money to be made on both sides of it. Yeah, that's one thing I'm been going over that I got to work on, Coin, with my own trading, is just, you probably heard me saying it, is being comfortable not taking trades. I think that is a big thing for a lot of newer traders, really, because you don't really know what your edge is for a lot of newer traders yet. So you see anything moving and you want to jump into it. Anything moves at all, you're like, okay, there's opportunity here. It may not be your edge entirely at all, and that's what it then creates over trading, revenge trading. You get into all that and you blow up based on all of that. Patience is what sets you apart, and being comfortable doing nothing, just waiting for your own setups. So, I mean, I don't know. I like to say that. Let me see. PMAX was a good trade for me. I can show you guys that. I mean, I'll trade large caps and small caps and all of it. It doesn't really matter. There's opportunities on both sides of it. This is a lower price small cap play that I traded. It had that euphoric move from 30 cents up to $1. Big upper shadow up and over the whole dollar area. And just work the backside of it. faded all the way back down to 30 cents, especially a ticker with no news. Those are oftentimes some of the ones that generate the most generational wealth, as Barron put it, generational poverty. Dude, we had that live stream. Barron, were you in here? There have been situations where generational poverty has occurred in trading. And one of those times it was, I think it was KTOS for an E-Trade trader. I think it was KTOS. No, it wasn't. Okay, it was Joe Campbell. He lost over $100,000 on a short, and he didn't even have $100,000. 8,400 shares short at $2, and this thing went up to like 17. Yeah, we went over this. It was Kalo Bios. What's the ticker symbol? Come on. So he was short on it. I won't go too deep into it because we went over it the other day. But he only had a few $1,000s in his account and ended up owing E-Trade like $106,000. So that was generational poverty. This was in pre-market, and it skipped over his trade. Okay, he had $37,000 in his account. KBIO short overnight. Thought a nice $2 fade coming. Saw a nice $2 fade coming, and the thing went up to like $16, and it skipped over. It just happened so quickly that the brokerage firm E-Trade couldn't even liquidate him. So he got wrecked. KBIO had to give the shares back to E-Trade, in which case it cost him like $100 and some thousand. I'm trying to go back as far as I can on KBIO. Actually, there's still a ticker, but I can't go back that far, even on the 20-year chart. Huh. Wonder why. Maybe it's not a ticker anymore. Yeah, but there's that. There is that. That was awful. Ross talked about Chinese ticker that halted at 20 and resumed at 500. Yo, yeah, that gives you nightmares, dude. Yes. Oh my God, nightmares for sure. Being in a halt like that, dude, and you're gonna owe your brokerage money. I mean, they're gonna auto liquidate you, and then you're gonna owe them a lot of money. Yeah, I was a part of one room where something similar happened to somebody. I've gone over that story a few times. It was a very nice lady who was planning a very big Christmas for her family, and they ended up not having a Christmas. She followed the guru into this was like a low float play. She followed the guru buying it, at the top, and then it halted down and opened up like 15 points lower in like a lot of shares. Lost like 30 grand, all the account. Oh, it can be disastrous. Trading can be disastrous. Without proper risk management, right? Without proper risk management. I'm curious what that Chinese ticker is. The Chinese plays have been all over the place here lately. I know Kayvon doesn't trade them at all because of that. But that's the change, guys. That's the change I'm making. Waiting for... Yeah. Yep. Christmas, Christ. Yep. Christ was still born, but he was probably rethinking it after that. waiting for the top to set, taking the short. I can't help it. I am a short mainly. I don't even like the term like biased, I'm a short biased. I'm pretty much, you should be unbiased and more opportunity driven based on the objectivity. You'll find it sweet. I don't know. I just in the trading years in my old age, guys, it's crunch time for me. I got to freaking snap out of it. I've got to snap out of it. MG, you're doing such a good job. I'm so impressed with you. You're not over trading. You're trading your setups. You're taking profits and you're withdrawing. I got to snap out of it, guys. I'm doing a little too much. I'm FOMOing. I never really thought of it as FOMOing, but I think I'm shorting. I'm FOMOing into some of these plays short, trying to get involved a little early. They're so much easier when you wait for the very predictable play and let the trades come to you. Man, guys, I'm pumped. I think we're there. Those are my bigger losses since January. Have been trying to predict rather than react to these setups. So we're going to let them find us. I say all these things, and I need to put them into practice. Avoid short selling. I have it on sticky note here. I need to read them in the morning. Avoid short selling euphoria. Wait for confirmation of resistance rather than predicting and anticipating. Wait for confirmation. AZGYL. All right. Of course, they always go to nothing. This thing's at 77 cents. Oh, look at that. It's done probably so many reverse splits that the chart is just completely effed up. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's so impossible to really get an idea of this ticker's past chart history. It's done so many splits. ZJYL. Trying to look it up. All right. Okay, this was written in 2024. The company had an intraday high of $509. Previously, the path to listing on this exchange was very bumpy. The first day it opened, it IPO'd, it closed at $7.95. I mean, what was it, Baron? It was just manipulation. Huh. So, man, I'm trying to gather, like, dude, there had to have been some massive blow-ups on that. Yeah, they're facing, it looks like, delisting now over the share price rule. They need to be up and over $1 for 6 months or they get delisted. Man, what a move. Did he talk about anybody that got wrecked on that thing? Because you know that had to have happened. No shares to be bought, and brokers kept placing orders higher. Oh my word. No. No. No, that is awful. Yeah, shorting at $8 with 1,000 to be liquidated at 500, and you're auto liquidated. I mean, look, what's the math on that? Let's just run the math. There had to have been people short on it, right? Because this thing's at 75 cents right now. Of course, they usually go to zero. So there were definitely people short on it. God, that would, oh my God. These people would never trade ever again. Okay, they had, all right, Baron. They had an 8,000, shorting at 8. Okay, so they would have an $8,000 position. If it opens up at 500 times 1,000 is 500,000. So they're red $492,000. I think I will be content with my $50 red day today. Oh my gosh. Awful. MG, looking for the last trade you had. It was caps. Short at 550, covered at 4. If you look in the daily chart. Let's take a look. CAPS. Yeah, a couple Thursdays ago, went from $1.90 up to $8.67, all the way back down. All the way back down. So did you hit it after that top of 8.67 had been set? You were, because you hit it at 550. Yeah, you hit it at 550. Yeah, generational poverty. Yep. Yep, that's very that's bad. That's real bad. Risk management is key. Hopefully that's what we're learning here tonight, guys. Risk management ultimately key in trading. And that's what messes us up more than anything. You can have decent green days, but if you do not allow yourself to have decent red days, decent as in small, mitigating the risk, managing them well, it's not going to work out. It's not going to work out. You have got to be able to like walk away, for example. I talk about that a lot with traders that are blowing up. Just not being able to walk away because they're trying to dig themselves out of holes, and then they ultimately dig themselves deeper in those holes. We're in control of the shovels, so you can toss it, you can keep digging. But that is pretty much the meeting where I'm at with the account. I'm going to start sipping some more bourbon. You guys let me know if you have any questions over what we are, where we're moving, the direction we're heading. I'm making my life a lot easier. I'm going to be not shorting the front side anymore. Going to be waiting for more predictable setups, which means being comfortable not being in trades, and that's what we're doing moving forward to Monday. That is what we're going to do on Monday. Hit it on the way down. Good job, MG. Excellent work. But the mic is yours, guys. I'm going to be heading out of here in 10 minutes or so. The market, I should have said this earlier. The market rewards the boring. It punishes excitement. You gotta be like working some of your winners. You gotta just let them work. At least leftovers. Man, the leftovers helps my emotions out so much, knowing that I've taken green on the trade and then just not caring about the rest, but still being able to make a massive difference on the account. Because the adjusted stop is break even. That helps me out so much, locking in something. Knowing I'm green and I'm either greener or break even. Break even on the leftover position. Problem is, leftovers really has not been working out the last couple of weeks for me because of all the chop. The edge in trading is not found in secret indicators. It's found in uncommon patience and uncommon discipline. The edge is not found in secret indicators, uncommon patience, uncommon discipline. Being able to trust yourself. You can't eliminate all losses. You can eliminate big losses, but and the last little quote here, I'll leave with you guys because this one sticks with me all the time. If you can learn to create a state of mind that's not affected by the behavior of the market, the struggle is going to cease to exist. So take the short, like I've even gone over, against the highs, and if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, and don't be affected by it. You got to change the way we think, change our expectations to detach ourselves from the outcome entirely so that we're not disappointed, because if you have expectations, it's going to create bias, and the bias is going to lead you down a dark and lonely road. We want to not have any bias on these tickers. Detach yourselves from the outcome, create a state of mind that's not affected by what the market does. We want to have confidence in knowing that regardless of what the market does, we know how we're going to respond to it, because we cannot. I wish I was that guru that said, I know what's going to happen on this trade. Follow my alerts. I'm the guru that says, I don't know what's going to happen on this trade, but I know what I'm going to do. And we don't know what the market's going to do, but we have to know our reaction to what's going to happen. So, traders, I'm going to leave you with that to sleep on. I'm going to hit the hay. Thank you guys for being a part of the green team. Any last thoughts before we get on out of here? For those that are just now tuning in, go back and watch it. Great live stream AA meeting on some things that we're doing. We're going to be changing. We're going to be changing some major things moving forward. But the green team prevails. The green team prevails. Yeah, something somebody posted too. I liked it a lot. They were like, understanding the concept of just living to trade another day. Like, don't try to conquer the market in one day, in one trade. Understand that even if you have a red day, like, just live to trade another day. That's a huge part of it. Living to trade another day. At least allowing your account life to trade another day. All right, guys. Great live stream. Email me, averydaytrading@gmail.com if you have any questions. Good stream tonight. We'll see you guys Monday morning. We're going to get at it and start the week on a strong green note. Excited for, who is it? King. King is opening up his account with CMAG on Monday. Can't wait. Awesome. Congratulations. Let's hit it. Let's hit the ground running. All right. We'll see you guys Monday morning.